Well, the state continues to assess its response to Tropical Storm Irene, and the governor says it must be used as a learning experience.
It was a statewide natural disaster causing some kind of damage almost everywhere in this state. But if it had been a Category 1 or 2 or 3 hurricane, the preparations would not have been enough. Our chief capital correspondent Mark Davis live in our Hartford newsroom with word that Irene is being used, Mark, to prepare something for something even worse, right?
That's right. Good evening, everyone from the Hartford newsroom. The consensus seems to be that despite the hardship caused by Irene, we were lucky this time. The governor today reminded homeowners and business owners that November 3rd is the deadline to apply with FEMA for federal aid for rebuilding following Tropical Storm Irene.
Anyone who experienced damage at their business or residence that they think they might potentially garner compensation for, they need to register.
It came on a day that the governor convened a special panel to determine how the state would fare against an even worse storm.
How do we harden the utilities against that? What do we do with wastewater treatment, rail lines, bridges? We need to know that.
For some communities, cell phone service was a lifeline that made it easier for municipal leaders to communicate.
Because people have had the opportunity to sign in to call-out programs as well as receive social media on their phones, we found that to be one of the most effective ways of actually reaching out to people and giving them real-time information, the information that they needed.
But large parts of the state had no cell service at all, and the state had difficulty getting generators to cell phone towers. That's one of the areas that this panel is expected to look at very carefully.
I think somebody needs to set an appropriate number with respect to generating capacity for the cell tower operators to be available in the state.
Now, state regulatory agencies would have to require that, so there'd be some red tape and rigmarole to go through that. This panel is supposed to make recommendations, formal recommendations to the governor by December. Live from the Hartford newsroom, Mark Davis, News 8.